Welcome to Lesson 6 of Week 10. The abstract or executive summary is perhaps the most important section of your proposal. It is often the first thing reviewers read carefully and sometimes the only thing read during initial screening. This lesson focuses on writing abstracts that capture your entire proposal in miniature while compelling reviewers to want to learn more. The abstract serves as the microcosm of your proposal, containing all essential elements in condensed form. Every key component must be present: the problem, your solution, your methods, your qualifications, and your expected outcomes. Within severe space constraints, typically 200 to 300 words, you must communicate the essence of what might be a 100-page proposal. This lesson will help you understand the critical function of abstracts, identify the essential elements every abstract must contain, develop techniques for condensing effectively, and master timing by writing your abstract last after the full proposal is complete. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to write abstracts that maximize your chances of receiving serious review attention. Understanding why the abstract matters motivates the attention it deserves. Several functions make the abstract critically important. First impression means the abstract is often the first substantive content reviewers read carefully. Before engaging with your full proposal, they read your summary. This initial encounter shapes expectations and attitudes. A strong abstract creates positive anticipation. A weak one creates skepticism before detailed reading even begins. Screening function means abstracts may determine whether full proposals receive careful review. In competitive programs with many applications, initial screening may evaluate abstracts to identify proposals warranting detailed attention. A proposal with a weak abstract may be screened out without its full content being examined. Panel reference occurs because reviewers return to abstracts during panel discussions. When your proposal comes up for discussion, reviewers who did not read it carefully may scan the abstract to follow the conversation. Your abstract serves as a quick reference point throughout the review process. Memory anchor function means the abstract creates lasting impressions that color subsequent reading. The themes, approach, and tone established in your abstract carry forward as reviewers work through your full proposal. A compelling abstract creates favorable momentum. A confusing one creates lasting doubt. Every abstract must contain certain essential elements. Understanding these elements helps you include everything necessary within tight space constraints. The problem statement identifies the need or gap your project addresses. Reviewers must understand what problem you are solving. In 1 to 2 sentences, convey the significance and urgency of the issue. Without a clear problem, your solution lacks context. The proposed solution describes what you will do to address the problem. This is your core project concept. What is your approach? What makes it appropriate for this problem? In 1 to 2 sentences, convey your basic strategy for addressing the identified need. The method's overview explains how you will implement your solution. This is not the place for detailed methodology, but reviewers need a sense of how you will carry out your project. Key activities, target population, setting, and evaluation approach should be mentioned, if only briefly. Expected outcomes describe the results you anticipate achieving. What will be different if your project succeeds? Quantified outcomes are more compelling than vague improvement language. Help reviewers envision the impact of funding your project. Each of these elements is essential. An abstract that omits any of them is incomplete. Beyond essential elements, certain optional elements can strengthen abstracts when space permits. Including these elements depends on their relevance and available space. Team qualifications briefly convey why you are positioned to succeed. If your team has particularly relevant expertise or track record, mentioning this in the abstract builds confidence. Even a phrase like "our experienced team" or "building on our successful pilot" signals capability. Innovation statement highlights what is novel about your approach. If innovation is a key win theme or scoring criterion, the abstract should signal your distinctive contribution. A phrase like "this innovative approach" or "using our newly developed tool" flags novelty for reviewers to explore further. Broader impact indicates how success benefits beyond your immediate project scope. Funders often care about implications beyond the specific work proposed. Noting replicability, policy implications, or field-wide benefits positions your project as significant beyond its direct scope. Win Theme Preview introduces your key differentiators in condensed form. Your 2 to 3 win themes should be visible even in the abstract, planting the seeds that will grow throughout the full proposal. Reviewers encountering your themes first in the abstract will recognize them as they recur. These elements are optional because space constraints may not accommodate all of them. Prioritize based on their importance to your proposal and the funder's priorities. Timing matters for abstract writing. The counterintuitive but correct approach is to write your abstract last, after completing the full proposal. Full proposal first means completing your entire proposal before attempting the abstract. Only when you know exactly what you are proposing can you summarize it accurately. Writing the abstract first means summarizing something that does not yet exist in final form. Accurate summary requires that your abstract reflect the actual document it summarizes. If your abstract describes a different project than your proposal does, reviewers will be confused. Writing last ensures the abstract matches the completed proposal with all its refinements and adjustments. Evolution reality acknowledges that proposals change during development. What you think you will write initially often differs from what you actually write. Objectives get refined, methods get adjusted. Writing the abstract early means summarizing a version that may no longer exist by submission time. Efficiency results from writing the abstract once after everything else is finalized, rather than revising it repeatedly as the proposal evolves. Early abstracts require constant updating. A final abstract written after completion needs no further revision. One careful writing is more efficient than multiple hasty revisions. Condensation techniques help you fit essential content into limited space. Every word must earn its place in an abstract. Eliminate redundancy by saying each thing once precisely. Repetition that serves emphasis in longer documents wastes space in abstracts. State each key point once with enough clarity that repetition is unnecessary. Every sentence should add new information. Active voice is more concise than passive constructions. We will implement requires fewer words than implementation will be carried out by our team. As discussed in our lesson on persuasive rhetoric, active voice is also more confident. In abstracts, the space savings add to the persuasive benefits. Strong verbs replace weak verb plus noun combinations with single strong verbs. We will analyze saved space over, we will conduct an analysis, we will assess beats we will make an assessment of. These substitutions save words while strengthening language. Cut filler by removing words that add no meaning. Very, really, basically, essentially, and similar fillers waste precious space. Empty phrases like in order to, used to, at this point in time, use now, and due to the fact that use because consume space without adding value. In abstracts, ruthless editing is essential. Abstract structure can follow different formats. Understanding your options helps you choose the most effective approach. Narrative flow uses prose paragraphs to tell a coherent story. The abstract reads as connected prose, with transitions between elements. This approach works well when you want to emphasize the logical flow from problem through solution to outcomes. The narrative feels integrated rather than segmented. Structured format uses labeled sections for each required element. Problem, approach, methods, outcomes might each get a brief heading with content underneath. This approach makes it easy for reviewers to locate specific elements and verify all required components are present. The explicit structure aids quick scanning. Hybrid approach combines brief labels with narrative content under each. This captures benefits of both, the organizational clarity of structure with the readability of narrative. Labels help navigation. Narrative under each label provides coherent content. Funder preference should guide your choice when funders specify abstract format. Some NOFOs require particular structures, specific headings, or maximum lengths. When format is specified, follow it exactly. When format is open, choose the approach that presents your project most effectively given its nature and your strengths. The first sentence of your abstract has outsized importance. Making it count maximizes your opening impact. Immediate engagement means opening with compelling content rather than throat clearing. Do not waste your first sentence on "this proposal requests funding" or "our organization is pleased to submit." Jump directly into substantive content that gives reviewers reason to care. Problem or solution should lead your abstract. Rural communities in our state lack access to mental health services immediately establishes the problem. Our innovative telehealth approach will bring mental health services to underserved rural communities immediately establishes your response. Either approach works, generic openings do not. Specific language avoids vague openings that could apply to any project. This project will improve outcomes is too general. This project will increase high school graduation rates by 15% among first-generation college students is specific. Specificity signals that you have a concrete plan, not just good intentions. Hook value gives reviewers reason to continue reading. Your first sentence should create interest in learning more. If the first sentence is boring or confusing, reviewers may approach the rest of your abstract and proposal with diminished enthusiasm. Make them want to know more. Quantification strengthens abstracts by making claims concrete and verifiable. Numbers communicate more effectively than vague language. Specific numbers are more compelling than vague language. Will serve 500 students is more meaningful than will serve many students. Will operate in 12 school districts conveys scale more clearly than will operate in multiple districts. Wherever possible, replace vague quantity words with actual numbers. Outcome targets stated numerically demonstrate that you have specific expectations. We expect to increase graduation rates by 15% is more credible than we expect to improve graduation rates. Numerical targets show you have thought carefully about realistic outcomes and will be able to measure success. Scale indicators show project scope through numbers. Mentioning budget size, number of participants, geographic reach, or time frame helps reviewers understand what they would be funding. These numbers help contextualize your project relative to others they might fund. Credibility building results from specific numbers, suggesting careful planning. A proposal filled with vague quantities sounds like the writer has not really figured out the details. A proposal with specific numbers throughout signals thorough planning. Even in the abstract, this attention to specifics builds confidence. Common abstract mistakes undermine effectiveness. Recognizing these mistakes helps you avoid them. Missing elements occur when abstracts omit essential components like problem statement, proposed solution, methods overview, or expected outcomes. Each element is necessary. An abstract that describes a great problem but never explains what you will do about it is incomplete. Verify all essential elements are present. Vague language uses generic statements that could apply to any project. Will address community needs, will improve outcomes, will build capacity. These phrases could appear in thousands of proposals. They communicate nothing distinctive. Replace vague language with specific descriptions of your particular project. Excess length that exceeds word limits wastes reviewer patience and may result in truncation. If the limit is 250 words, hitting 245 shows you can follow instructions. Hitting 300 suggests either carelessness or inability to write concisely. Stay within limits. Mismatch between abstract and proposal creates confusion. If your abstract emphasizes innovation, but your proposal focuses on evidence-based replication, reviewers will be confused about your actual approach. The abstract must accurately preview the proposal it introduces. Writing the abstract last helps prevent this mismatch. Testing your abstract before submission ensures it accomplishes its purposes. Several tests evaluate abstract quality. The standalone test asks whether someone can understand your project from the abstract alone. Give your abstract to a colleague who has not read your full proposal. Can they explain what you are proposing, why it matters, and what you expect to achieve? If not, your abstract is incomplete. The element check verifies all essential elements are present. Walk through your abstract sentence by sentence, identifying which element each addresses. Can you find problem statement, proposed solution, methods overview, and expected outcomes? If any element is missing, add it. The differentiation test asks whether your abstract distinguishes you from competitors. After reading your abstract, would reviewers remember anything distinctive about your proposal? Are your win themes visible? If your abstract sounds like any other proposal, strengthen it with specific differentiators. The interest test asks whether your abstract would make reviewers want to read more. Is the problem compelling? Is your solution intriguing? Do the expected outcomes seem valuable? An abstract that fails to generate interest in learning more is not doing its job. The revision process for abstracts moves from content to length to polish. Following this process produces strong results. First draft should get all essential content down without worrying about length. Write a complete abstract that includes everything important. Do not constrain yourself initially. Just capture the essential information. You can compress later. Word count checks your draft length against requirements. If the limit is 250 words and your draft is 400, you know how much compression is needed. This assessment tells you how ruthless your editing must be. Compression tightens language to meet limits while preserving content. Apply condensation techniques. Eliminate redundancy. Convert to active voice. Strengthen verbs. Cut filler. Every word removed without losing meaning is progress. Continue until you meet the limit with all essential content intact. Polish refines for maximum impact after content is set. Once you have the right content at the right length, focus on word choices, sentence structure, and flow. Can any phrase be made more vivid? Does the first sentence grab attention? Is the ending memorable? Polish elevates good abstracts to excellent ones. Executive summaries and abstracts serve similar functions but may differ in specifics. Understanding the distinction helps you respond appropriately to different requirements. Terminology varies among funders. Some request abstracts, others request executive summaries, and others use terms like project summary or project narrative summary. The basic function is similar, a condensed version of your full proposal, but specific requirements vary. Length differences mean executive summaries may be longer than abstracts. Abstracts often range from 150 to 300 words. Executive summaries might extend to 1 or 2 pages. Additional length allows more detail, but the core challenge remains, condensing effectively. Content differences may allow summaries to include more context, background, or organizational information than typical abstracts. Some funders want summaries that can stand alone as brief descriptions of the project for public or programmatic use. Check whether your summary will be used beyond evaluation. Funder guidance should determine your approach. Follow whatever requirements your NOFO specifies. If they ask for an abstract of 200 words, provide exactly that. If they ask for a 2-page executive summary with specific sections, provide exactly that. Let funder requirements guide your approach rather than generic advice. Following best practices for abstracts produces summaries that serve your proposal well. These practices should guide your approach. Write last by completing your full proposal before writing the abstract. Only when you know exactly what you are proposing can you summarize it accurately. Writing early means summarizing a document that will change. Writing last means summarizing the final version. Include all elements by ensuring problem, solution, methods, and outcomes are all present. An abstract missing any essential element is incomplete. Walk through your draft, verifying each element appears. Add anything missing before considering length compression. Be specific by using concrete language and numbers rather than vague generalities. Specific descriptions of your particular project are more compelling and more informative than generic statements. Replace every vague phrase with specific detail about what you will actually do. Test thoroughly to verify standalone comprehension and interest generation. Have others read your abstract without access to your full proposal. Can they understand and explain your project? Are they interested in learning more? An abstract that fails these tests needs revision. Let us summarize the key points from this lesson on abstracts and executive summaries. The abstract is critically important because it creates first impressions, may determine whether your full proposal gets read, serves as reference during panel discussions, and anchors memory throughout the review process. This importance justifies writing it carefully and writing it last, after your full proposal is complete. Essential elements include problem statement, proposed solution, methods overview, and expected outcomes. Every abstract must contain these elements. Optional elements like team qualifications, innovation statement, and win theme previews add value when space permits. Verify all essential elements are present before worrying about length. Condensation requires every word to earn its place within tight limits. Eliminate redundancy, use active voice, strengthen verbs, cut filler, and be specific rather than vague. The discipline of condensation produces not just shorter, but stronger writing. In our next lesson, we examine appendices strategy. Appendices extend your proposal with supporting materials like letters of support, bio sketches, and data collection instruments. Understanding what to include and what to exclude helps you use appendices effectively. Practice exercise. Take a full proposal or project description and write a 200-word abstract. Verify all essential elements are present. Test whether someone unfamiliar with the project can understand it from the abstract alone.